my curious and playful Gemini friend. Hello and welcome. My name is Mina, and I'm here to offer you a 3-card reading exploring the themes of you, your path, and your potential. I invite you to consider what the reading reveals about possible challenges, opportunities, and personal growth for the week ahead. Take a deep breath, rest your mind, and let's see what the cards have to share with you today. Gemini, this week begins with a sensation you can almost taste, the feeling that something is pressing up from inside, insistent and restless. There's a hum beneath your words, a friction between all you're trying to hold together and the urge to let something spill out, just to see what happens. You might notice it most in the quiet moments, when you catch yourself rehearsing conversations in your head or replaying little conflicts from earlier in the day. There's a subtle edge to your thoughts, a desire to be heard, to stand your ground, yet also a hesitance about what might happen if you do. It isn't anger exactly, and it isn't just worry. It's a bristling energy, the kind that comes before a change, but you can't quite predict which way it will go. You might feel pulled between wanting to keep the peace and wanting to be honest. Maybe you sense that others see you as steady, adaptable, easy to get along with, yet inside, you're wrestling with a storm of competing priorities. The tension is real, but so is your curiosity about what happens if you let it surface. This isn't about drama for its own sake. It's the slow, aching awareness that something's ready to move and you're right at the center of it. Sitting quietly with yourself, you might notice how alive this inner tension feels, like a room full of voices, each clamoring to be heard. The 5 of Wands drawn for you speaks to this moment not as a crisis but as a lively internal debate. You find yourself wanting to participate, to engage, to express your perspectives, even if you're not certain how they'll be received. There's a rawness to your energy, a sense that every little disagreement or difference in opinion lands just a bit sharper than usual. You may catch yourself bracing for friction in your interactions, anticipating a challenge in places you'd usually breeze through. At the same time, you're aware of a deep desire to be understood, not just for your ideas but for the complexity behind them. This isn't about picking a fight, it's about wanting to be seen, heard, taken seriously. Sometimes the tension lives in your chest, making you breathe a little faster. Other times it simmers in your stomach, a restlessness that urges you to move, act, speak. Even in your own mind, you sense a kind of jostling, different sides of you competing for attention. The urge to prove yourself, to clarify your position, can feel almost physical, and yet there's also a quiet anxiety beneath it. What if you say the wrong thing? What if your honesty is met with misunderstanding? The emotional posture is both defensive and eager, protective and hopeful. There's a certain thrill in the struggle, as if all this energy is proof that you're alive, that you care deeply about what's unfolding. You may find yourself replaying conversations, wishing you'd said more, or biding back words to keep things smooth. The truth is, this week you're not content to just go along. There's a part of you that wants to step forward, even if it means risking a little discomfort. Through it all, the question lingers: what will happen if you let your real self show? This restless, vivid energy doesn't stay contained. It shapes the choices you make, the way you interact, and the events that start to gather around you. When you're carrying so much internal noise, it's natural for it to ripple outward, affecting how you move through your days. The desire to be understood, to have your perspective counted, begins to influence what you say yes to, what you push back against, and where you draw boundaries. The sensation of being slightly on edge can make even ordinary interactions feel charged, as if the stakes are higher than they appear. You might notice yourself seeking moments of calm or craving spaces where you feel respected and valued. Yet, the very act of seeking this calm can highlight where it's missing. The path ahead is shaped by this internal friction, as you move through a world that sometimes seems just as unpredictable as your own thoughts. In the weeks unfolding, the Nine of Pentacles emerges as the landscape you're walking through. On the surface, there's a sense of accomplishment, of things finally coming together, but it's not without its own frictions. You've worked hard for the stability you have, whether in your home, your relationships, or your own sense of self. Yet this new stability brings its own pressures. There is a quiet expectation, both from yourself and others, that you'll hold everything together, maintain the harmony, keep things running smoothly. You may feel a subtle weight in being the one who's reliable, the one who makes it look easy. But beneath that ease, you're aware of the effort it takes, the push and pull between wanting to savor your achievements and feeling restless for what comes next can create a low-grade tension all week. There's friction between your desire for independence and the responsibilities that come with what you've built. Opportunities may arise that invite you to enjoy your successes, to claim a little more space for yourself, but you may sense a hesitance. Will stepping back mean losing ground? Can you really relax when there's so much at stake? The momentum of previous weeks is still carrying you, but now you're the one deciding how to direct it. There's beauty in your self-sufficiency, but also a loneliness that comes from being the one in control. You might find that others look to you for cues, expecting you to have the answers or to keep the peace. This can feel like both an honor and a burden. The active pressures are real. Moments of self-doubt, the challenge of setting limits, the friction of wanting more while being grateful for what's already here. In this space, you are learning how to receive not just praise or comfort, but the reality of your own agency. Each decision, each small assertion of your needs, adds to the sense of momentum, shaping not just your week, but the way you relate to your own power. As the week moves on, it becomes clear that what's possible for you depends on how consciously you meet these moments. The tension you felt isn't just an obstacle, it's a signpost hinting at what you value and what you're ready to claim. The stability you've built is real, but it doesn't have to become a cage. When you engage with your circumstances, rather than simply reacting to them, you create space for something new to emerge. This isn't about controlling every outcome or forcing change. It's about recognizing that your choices, your willingness to show up as you are, shape the scope of what's possible. The energy you bring to each conversation, each boundary, each small act of self-respect shifts the context around you. In this way, potential is not something waiting in the distance. It's something you generate moment by moment as you decide how much of yourself to bring forward. In the final movement of your week, the Knight of Swords steps into view, not as a herald of conflict, but as an invitation to clarity and self-assertion. This energy arrives when you're ready to cut through confusion, to say what needs saying, not for applause or approval, but because your truth deserves to be heard. There's an unmistakable sense of purpose here, an inner alignment that comes from having wrestled with doubt and found your footing. Growth in this context means allowing yourself to move forward with intention, even when the path isn't fully mapped. It's the courage to trust your instincts, to speak plainly, to act decisively when clarity arises. This isn't about being reckless or combative, it's about following that inner thread that says, "This is who I am. This is what matters to me." The invitation is to let your words and actions reflect your inner reality, to risk a little vulnerability in the name of honesty. When you allow yourself to move from this place of clarity, you may notice the world responding, not always with agreement, but with a recognition that your voice carries weight. The possibilities that open up are not guaranteed, but they are real. The sense of forward motion, of momentum breaking through old patterns, is yours to claim if you choose it. In the end, what's possible is not a fixed outcome, but a living process, shaped by your willingness to meet this moment consciously. All three threads, your restless inner voice, your hard-won stability, and your emerging clarity, come together into a single, textured story. The friction you feel at the start of the week is not evidence of failure or unrest, but of growth in motion. The Five of Wands reminds you that internal conflict is a sign you care, that you're alive to what matters. The Nine of Pentacles shows you the reward and responsibility of what you've built, the challenges of standing in your own success without losing your hunger for more. And as the week unfolds, the Knight of Swords brings the energy of courage, not to win every argument or prove every point, but to bring your full self into each moment without apology. There's no need to rush toward resolution. The uneasy feelings, the moments of doubt, the pressure to perform, they are all part of a larger process, one that's teaching you about your own strength and resilience. Even as you navigate tension, you are invited to recognize the beauty in your own voice, the importance of your boundaries, and the power of your choices. This isn't about reaching a perfect balance, it's about embracing the reality of your experience, trusting that every moment of friction is an opportunity to grow. As the week draws to a close, you may find a new steadiness in yourself, not because everything is resolved, but because you have learned to be present with what is, to trust your instincts, and to honor your own truth. In this there is calm, and in calm there is reassurance. Actionable insights for Gemini this week. If you notice tension in a conversation, try pausing to name what you're feeling, just to yourself, gently. Let yourself step outside for a few minutes when your thoughts feel crowded. Even a walk around the block can help create space. If a decision feels overwhelming, see what happens if you write down just one thing that matters most to you today. Spoken word affirmations to repeat aloud for a more positive mindset. I honor the energy I feel inside. My voice has value even when I doubt. Each choice I make is a step toward clarity. I trust my instincts more with every day. I can meet this week as my full self. And now, dear friend, I thank you for giving me your time. I truly hope I have given you something helpful in return. Goodbye and good luck until next time.